In my contemplation of this beatitude, blessed are those who mourn, they shall be comforted, I think the people who mourn get a more poignant sense of the shortness of life, and that each moment, each day has value and must be honored in some way. That riot and this month of examining the Black history, it has struck me that they have had so much to mourn as a community for centuries. And some of the depth, I'm sure we see in that community, some of the soulfulness, some of the richness of the art and the music from that community comes from that suffering, from all that they have. There's a deep and persistent pattern in our culture, one in which we have been doing this kind of harsh treatment of those who are not like us for centuries. And if we wish to be a better country, we need to re-examine our past so that we might recognize what it has cost us, why we have been like this, what is the price that we as individuals, we as a society have been paying for not being the true Christian nation that we said we were. Now, in the Beatitude, it says, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. And I dare say we will be comforted if we transform ourselves. We will have the comfort of being comfortable with people that we have often felt like, well, they probably are not like us. We will have the comfort of being part of a larger citizenship, a country in which there is equal justice for all, and there is a time when everybody can feel like all the forces that are good in this country, of which there are many, are there for everybody on equal footing. Many of us are nowhere near billionaires, but we do have more than we need. And so the practice of giving becomes the art of living. The art of living we recognize because when we feel the suffering of others, when we feel the mourning of others, the loss of opportunity of others, the chance that they are going through suffering, and we respond to it, it touches something deep inside the human psyche that can only be recognized by those who have mourned. They recognize the mourning and the suffering of others. And it brings comfort to the person who they are giving their best help to. It brings comfort also to the one giving help. These days, we are being transformed, I think, subtly, quietly, and sometimes without our even knowledge, but we are becoming more gentle and kinder and more loving. And so when anything shows up that is not like that, because we have mourned our own losses, we're alert to the price that injustice, that loss, that grief, that lack of any type, the suffering that comes with that, and we are more apt, not less, to be of service to them, to help, to love, to have compassion, to seek understanding. I think these qualities of being a person whose heart has been hurt leads us to be a person who is willing, even wanting, to help those whose hearts have been hurt. And so those of us who have mourned, we shall be comforted. And in fact, we'll probably be comforted in many ways because we have been transformed. And we'll be comforted because we know now that we can comfort others as well. We know what it takes to feel loved and accepted. We know what it takes to see the world with new eyes because we're doing it. As we open ourselves to the comfort that comes from the divine, as we become more Christ-like, more like the people who have led us into a deeper sense of understanding of ourselves, the saints and the heroes of our culture, more as we are led into that and we accept the transformation that comes from recognizing what hurts and what helps, As we do that, we bring to this world a greater sense of understanding of how to help, what we really want to do, what is most powerful, most self-affirming, most grace-filled is when we're in service of helping others, expressing compassion, awakening to their needs and finding a way to fill them. What we can do in the future to make this country a better place, it really is treating everyone like we would like to be treated ourselves. And when we can work collectively to make that so, we should do it. And when we can do it on an individual basis, we should do it. Because as this country becomes filled with life, filled with love, and filled with grace, then we become that bright and shining star, that beacon on a hill. We become the salt of the earth. We become the light that cannot be hid. That's what we want to be. At the end, all this is really about transformation. We're asked to be transformed from a self-centered, self-oriented person to a Christ-like being, one who sees all people as themselves, one who sees no gap between themselves and others, one who recognizes that the divine shines through everyone's eyes, and all that is important is not just about us. So let our hearts open. Perhaps they shall lead us into a future that we would be proud to have created. And we shall find that as we give ourselves to it, the possibilities for greatness, for kindness, for meaning, for love expand exponentially. Let it be our experience that what we have mourned awakens us to a brighter, more beautiful life. And in that we shall all be comforted.